Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm awesome.
Nice. It's so good to see you and meet you.
I know, same here, Miss Valerie.
Oh boy. So I'm so excited to talk to you today. I want to get to know you and your company and all that good stuff. So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your company.
Okay, so my name is Brandy Charlot. I am the owner of Blucid Floral, located in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I've been around for 5 years as a licensed florist here in New Orleans. I'm also a certified floral designer. So I started out in event planning, and I always say, this is my metaphor. I always say, it was like selling insurance. It's a lot of back and forth. You're not sure, people don't want to pay for what they need to execute their visions and all of that other good stuff. So, but on the other side, I'm an emotional person, and flowers always speak different language to me. When flowers would be set in a space, it just changed so much. The linens can be down and all of that and lighting, but when you set those arrangements on, it just sets a whole nother tone. So I really enjoyed that. And then I would play with them for a while. And I grew up around flowers, my grandmother gardening, but it was different when I began to step into my own space and get to feel the different emotions, just like I always speak with like colors of the flowers and what they stand for and stuff like that, desire, orange, and enthusiasm, and yellow, friendship, and all of those other great things. So I began to educate myself on it. I began to find out what, more about it. So that's how Blucid Floral birthed, and I've been at it ever since.
So Brandy, what do you think inspires you the most?
What inspires me the most is controversy, and I don't call them mistakes, I call them lessons. Things that go wrong. And just seeing how life can take a turn, even in business, even as a person, and those things can change your life. Those things are what inspires you to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to revamp this. I'm going to do this a little bit different from before. Oh, wow, I like this. This was life-changing, or this made a difference. So I think that those things inspire me to make changes and to perfect my craft. And most time when things go wrong, that's when you see your strengths and your weaknesses.
Yeah. It's interesting, and this is what I love about you, is on your blog, you mentioned that about, a mistake that you made and you learned from it. And I think that's really honorable, and it says a lot about a person's character. So I think I really just love that about you.
Thank you.
What do you think, as a business owner, your biggest hurdle has been, or is now, or has been?
As a Black woman in a white market, I can tell you that it can be challenging because it's a market that has been designed and planned for the other race. So when you come into a space and you're new, you're being looked at because many different reasons, coming into a space where, my dialect is different. I'm from New Orleans. A lot of people that come to New Orleans, even with the gentrification and stuff like that, most florists here, they're not from here. They're starting a new life, and that's one of the easier ones because they may have done it in the past. Just all kind of different stories, different backgrounds. So here in Louisiana, you must be licensed.
Yeah.
And which means, growing up, you'd be like, oh, Lord, florists are so mean. But that's like the culture here. I don't know why, but I think it's more of just that's their nature. You would walk into the floral shop and, sometimes the energy was off. But it's a very small market. Well, not a small market, but it's very close knit, and it's very few Blacks. So when you are trying to figure out what steps you can take for the test to pass so that you can become licensed. You don't have anyone to go to. People are kind of very standoffish. You know, I do have one friend that I actually stood in her shop and did tell her, you know, I want, you know,
Is that Susie?
That's
Susie. We love Susie.
Yes. Susie is my best bud, and she exposed me to things. And even with the Museum of Arts. So that's one of the hurdles that I had to jump through, because going in the space that she gets so upset because she would always tell me, I don't want you to feel racism. And she knew what it was when you step in certain spaces, and going in the Museum of Art, you know, it's a lot of white folks. Yeah. So they would look at me, and I am cute. So
yes, you are.
It would draw some attention. Then I got on high heels. I stand almost 6 feet tall and all of that other good stuff. I saw things that I didn't see. So one thing that happened, now you're in the museum and they have cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So I had an exhibit there, and all of a sudden it fell. So it was beautiful. I had like a African, like a mannequin head, but I had roses full on the head. And then I sewed some flowers on to go into the guitar, and it's like music to the ears, the mind, and floor. So nobody can tell me how it fell, what happened. But if I think if a picture was stolen off the wall, you know, they would have been able to find that. So, you know, just different things like that, actually experiencing it. And I didn't sweat it, but I did it another year because I wanted them to know they didn't damage me. You know, they could my character, my work, you know, regardless of what transpired in the space that I know still to this day unbeknown about. But anyway, what happened, you know, what could have happened. Yeah. So, and I would say that when I first started building a Rolodex, you know, having contact people that, you know, because my friend, she does everyday floral, but I am into weddings and corporate events and, you know, all of those things. And starting out, you know, it's a lot of style shoots. That's how you begin to grow your business. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get any flower friends, and I didn't want, you know, I'm not gonna say, like, I don't want to sound like arrogant or anything, but it was more business. It's not, I wasn't looking for a friendship. I wanted to do business. Yeah. But, you know, that's one of the hurdles that I faced when I would call growers here, because again, I'm new. So my vendor was actually teaching me how and what flowers were relevant in the season. And I was really new. I was learning day to day. And I loved it, because when you get something from the gut and from the dirt, like a flower, you know, you begin to see it grow and you appreciate those things. Yeah. So when I was able to see, I used to say things like, how that flower standing up like that? How that look like that? You know, but I could never get my hands on them. And the connections that they had, they were not shared. And when I did find a local grower, they said they couldn't sell to me. They would only sell to a bride. So stuff like that. So I have many stories, but I can say that I'm grateful. And then on the flip side, even in my own community, when it's the white market, it's hard to, and you know, for a long time, Blacks always got the short end of the stick. So we learned more about silk. So when you say fresh, it's like, whoa, I can't afford that. It's designed so we couldn't afford it. We couldn't tap in and see beauty. And those things, you know, even now when you see flowers in someone's house, that's such a statement about them in our community. You know, it says something. Class, stature, you know. So saying all that to say, getting my own community to trust me and know that I will show up, I will give them what they need, give them what they want. That was a process. And I make sure that I'm on time. I have to work extra hard to prove to them that I can do every style, design, aesthetic of floral. So I had to educate in every market. So, I mean, every aspect, you know, I had to go, you know, I'm a protege of Preston Badley. I've been to the Ting Flower Conference. I said, I want to know what's that symbol for? But you know what I learned at the end? It's about your design aesthetic, what you would like to bring and introduce others to into your business so that you can continue to grow and show them who you are and what you can design. So that's it.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm just taking in everything that you're saying. Brandy, how do you go through life with people constantly at you like that? Like that's like, so that would weigh me down. I don't know. I mean, just like when you said you would walk into a room and you knew that, you know, people were going to judge you for, you know, the color of your skin.
Yeah.
How do you tolerate that? How does that?
Well, the first thing, you have to understand what your ancestors fought for. You have to understand, you know, that you can and you are bold enough to walk into a space and ignore what's around you, and you demand a space. You let them see God's presence in you. Because at the end of the day, they're human like me. I don't care what color you are. I can produce the same thing that you do. Give me a little bit more money, I'll show you. You know, put me in a space and I'll compete with you. So it just depends on where you are in your mind to say, I can overcome this. If someone else did, I could too. The beauty about it now, we don't have to fight physically as hard. I mean, you know, because they just take and kill us. But back then you would get beat, you would get torn down, but you have to get to a place where you know that that no longer exists, and I have a voice, and I have a body, I have a stand in this. So that's when you realize who you are and what you know that you're made of, those things, you can really mute them. Like, and people respect you when you are authentic and you are yourself, and you can own who you are. And be able to walk in a space and know who you are. Yeah.
So what advice can you give young boys and girls to maybe they want to explore the business? What advice would you give them as a Black business owner?
I would say educate yourself first. Reach out to people that's doing what you're doing or would like to do. Find someone with that design aesthetic. Explain to them what you're doing. Don't just walk in their space. And that's the problem that I had in the beginning. People like to come in and learn your craft and leave. Well, you have to learn how to use your discerning spirit to kind of find out, you know, this person, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's in here. You can feel it. You can observe people. So, you know, choosing what's around you wisely. And I would say go for it. You know, continue to perfect yourself. Continue to invest in yourself. Like I always, still to this day, I will buy flowers just to show myself design technique that I really want to learn, because I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a person that sit on the internet for hours. I'm a person that likes to put it in my hands and see what I can do with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Amazing. Do you have any exciting projects coming up? I know with the whole COVID thing, everybody's sort of at a standstill.
So every year I host a girls event here in New Orleans, and I teach them about connecting to their inner being, and with that, creating a floral crown. Anything connected to the mind, continue to nurture, continue to grow, and continue to make that connection with yourself and others around you. So I do have that coming up. I'm really excited about that. And that's pretty much it at the moment.
Oh, well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I really appreciate you. I love your honesty. I love your blog. Your website is so beautiful and your designs are amazing. I love them. So thank you so much, Brandy, for taking the time with us today.
Okay. Enjoy.
Bye.